Hi guys, how's it going? Caitlin here, and welcome to my kitchen for another week of meal prep. I hope you guys are excited for the week ahead. Meal prep is a love yourself later activity, so you are doing this as a form of self-care. It saves you so much stress and time and frustration. All week long. You're gonna love yourself later when you do this. I do have 3 varying levels of prep in this, depending on your level of motivation. However, if you wanna get the time to table results that you see on the meal plan, you're gonna wanna do the 3rd level. Okay guys, you with me? If you still need to get your prep list, check the description of this video. In the description of this video, you're gonna find the link to bring you to the prep list, and then you can have everything at a click right there, nice and easy. This week we're gonna be having shawarma rice bowls, Southwest wraps, favorite, and pancakes, a little bit of, breakfast for supper type of deal. So without any further ado, I'm going to start with level 3. Okay, I like to start with level 3 because it is stuff, or at least part of level 3, it's stuff that does itself while I'm doing other things, so that there's less for me to do later. Yeah, so I'm going to cook up some bacon after I grab it out of the fridge. There we go. An essential first step in First Steps is having your food there. And you know what? It's funny because I make a list and everything so that I know what to bring, and then I always still manage to forget something. And if that's you too, then you are my people. And this meal plan is for you. So I'm going to cook my bacon in the oven on a bar pan. You could cook yours however you want to. You could cook it on the stove top. Microwave, although I do like to have a hands-off kind of approach for this, just because I'm doing other things at the same time. Putting it in the oven on this is just really easy. So if you want to just make up a few pieces, you could. You can cook up the whole pack if you want to have some to go with your pancakes as well. That's if you don't mind reheated bacon. If you happen to think that is horrible, then you know what? Don't do it. Do your thing. You gotta do what works for you and what works for your family. You know them best. I'm trying to not touch this because gross. All right. There we go. Just gonna chuck this in the garbage. So just taking my strips and I am laying them all out. So this is on a stone. Stones love a little grease. If you are trying to prepare your stone bar pan, if you just got one or you have one and you don't know what to do with it, or you found that everything's stuck to it, your stones need to develop a nonstick. And a great way to develop that nonstick is to use some extra fatty stuff the first few times you cook with them. Kind of like you do if you've ever done cast iron, where you have to give, cast iron needs a bit of a seasoning too, right? It becomes your favorite thing in the kitchen, but it doesn't start that way because it needs a little love. Well, bacon is a great way to show love to yourself, to your plate, and to your bar pan. So cook bacon a couple times in your bar pan. It'll be nonstick and you'll love it. You'll love it so much, forever and ever. Well, maybe not forever and ever, but as long as it lasts. Ain't nothing that'll last forever. I mean, apparently lobsters are kind of immortal. Nobody actually knows how long they live. So, I mean, lobsters, I guess, could live forever, but that sounds a little... As a diver, it kind of terrifies me. Because I am not a fan of lobsters. To me, they're like the spiders of the ocean. I don't like spiders. Here we go. So I did my best to put them all in one layer, and then there's just that rogue one, and it's just gonna be there, and it's just gonna do its thing, and it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna throw it in the oven. And I'm just setting a timer for 20 minutes there. Next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to cook up a couple slices of chicken. So these are going to be for the wraps. If you wanted to do extra chicken, to have extra chicken for salads or for anything else you might want to do, you could definitely do that now too. And what I'm actually gonna do so that my chicken just cooks, so my chicken cooks a little faster, I am going to cut it in half. Oops. After I smush the crap out of it. Really taking out a little something on this chicken. So this is just a little spring-loaded thing. It's called a close and cut. And it allows me to cut my chicken into two. So that it's butterfly style without having to pay for it butterfly style, and also not risking chopping any fingers. Because, okay, I'd like to say it was a secret. It's not really a secret. I'm really, really, really clumsy. I am klutzy as they come. And if you can hurt yourself on something, I will find my way to do it. Like, it is just, you know, people have that knack. I have that knack. It's not a great knack to have. It gets me barred from using certain kitchen toys and appliances, and probably should not experiment with flying an airplane or anything like that. So I got my chicken in there. I'm just gonna throw a little bit of salt and pepper on it. And you can cook your chicken in the oven. You can do it in the air fryer. You can really do it wherever you want to do it. I'm gonna throw mine. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna throw mine in the microwave because I have a magic clay container. My magic clay container, it somehow just makes everything taste good even when it's cooked in the microwave. So I'm just gonna put that in there for a little while and we'll see where it goes. I put it in for 7 minutes. Just to start, and then we are going to go from there. So I'm gonna move this out of my way because it's all like, you know, raw meaty. Give my hands a quick wash. I don't think I touched anything raw, but better to be safe than sick. And then we'll get ready to go with level 1. Level 1 is always prepping our veggies. You always want to make sure that you have yourself a cutting board and a sharp knife. And why a sharp knife? Because a dull knife you are more likely to hurt yourself with, or you're more likely to cut yourself with anyway, because you're just trying too hard. So number 1 is just dicing 1 bell pepper, and any of these things. If you want to do it more to have more available for you throughout the week, don't let anybody stop you. You do it. Chop, 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 choppy there. You'll notice my cutting board has pockets. I love my cutting board with pockets. It helps me to feel more organized. It keeps my mess from migrating because it tends to. My mind goes all over the place. My mess goes all over the place. At least I'm consistent that way. By the way, if you ever want to push with your knife, always make sure you do it with the non-sharp end of it, because you don't want to ruin a good sharp knife, and that's what you're going to do if you're scraping that way. It's just, it's kind of cringeworthy and horrible to watch. It makes me feel bad for knives. There we go. Got one bell pepper diced up. You ready for the next session? All right, let's go. We are going to thinly slice either a shallot or a red onion. And if you're wondering what the heck a shallot is, they are like, it's like a red onion and garlic had a baby, and they came up with like this adorable little red onion clove. That's what a shallot is. I find they're a little milder than some other onion to put on things. So if I'm not cooking the onion, shallot is my personal preference just for flavor and texture sake, because I find it not quite as hard. But you could also use red onion. Now, when I was living alone, I used a lot more shallots because I found that I wasn't using, or I didn't need a whole onion. I still wanted fresh vegetables to use because obviously they make a flavor difference, but I didn't need to buy a bag of red onions to feed myself, right? Like, instead I could just get a little container of shallots, and for me it was less waste. So something to consider. Should have left the knobby end on to make this a little easier to slice, but I will survive this bad decision. There we go. So, got my shallot all sliced and ready. Next, I am going to shred up some lettuce. I'm going to shred up the whole thing of lettuce because you know what? I'm going to find uses for it. It is, if it's not all used in the wraps, it's going to be used in something. And salads on more wraps. And this is kind of a little, got a little head of lettuce this week. Sometimes that produce fairy is better than others, because I always tend to order my produce I tend to order my produce for pickup from the grocery store, and even though it's a paid service, it saves me a lot of money, because if I go into the grocery store, I start eating with my eyes, and that ends up translating through to my wallet. I will spend at least 50% more if I walk into that store. If the rest of my family is with me when we're doing the shopping, like, look out, because it's gonna be bad. At least double, and then half the time I forget what I actually went into the store to get in the first place. Plus all the time it saves me, like just being able to pull up to the store and say, hey, it's the order for whoever. And I know you may have delivery services in your area. I'm a little too out of town to have anything delivered. However, if you were in town, that'd be a possibility too, even easier. Okay, lettuce, done. Now I did say to bring your cucumber and to bring your cherry tomatoes, just so you have them washed. Then if they're washed, they're pretty much ready to go for day of too. I don't like to chop my cucumber before the day of, just because I find like it can start to go a little rubbery or loses a lot of liquid. Let's see, how you doing, chicken? Okay, 3 of 4 are cooked. This is totally not the purpose of a thermometer to pull your chicken out, but okay. That one's just going in for another minute, and then it shall be done as well. Guys, we're ready to move on to level 2. So if you're with me, you're with me. And if you're not, you're still gonna love yourself, even just for having those veggies ready. You will love yourself for it. Let's make some shawarma seasoning for our rice bowls, shall we? So I'm gonna put mine in a little bowl. I like these little 1-cup prep bowls just to have my seasonings in. Measuring spoon. All right, so we're gonna need some pepper, allspice, garlic powder, clove, cardamom, chili powder, oregano, and salt. Whole bunch of seasonings. Just mixing this up now. If you already have, say, a shawarma seasoning that you like, you can just use that instead. If it's already like pre-assembled, good on you. You can measure it out and put it in a container if you want to, just so it'll be grab and go day of, or you can just say, "Man, good enough, it's made," and then you can measure it out that day too. Allspice. I love allspice. Oh man, it's one of those things that just smells so good. Okay. Garlic powder. I'm gonna switch to my 1/4 teaspoon now for the other ingredients. So many like warm spices in this. Some cinnamon. Yes, I heard you. Cardamom. Anybody else find it therapeutic just smelling the spices? Like, I like that part of doing a spice mix. first I'm like, ugh, I gotta grab so many things out of the cupboard. And then I'm like, ooh, but they smell so nice. Chili powder, oregano. I do find that if I assemble all the things I need together and then I move them away after I'm done, it helps my brain to know that, yeah, you did have all the spices and yes, you put them all in there, and then I don't have to second guess myself. All right, so there's a spice. I'm just gonna throw a lid on that, and that's going to be ready for me. Let me just check and double check, triple check. So your chicken. Woo. Yep, she's plenty done now. So that chicken, like, I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit, but you can just slice that and put it in one of those jars as well, and then it is good to go. So next thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shred up some cheese. Just need half a cup of cheese. You can shred up a bit more if you want. You know your family. You know how cheesy you are or are not. Oops. I have a little ketchup cup on the bottom of mine, and it has a measuring on the side of it as well, which I really like. Not that I need it measured to a T, but ish. I like an ish. I like to know my things, I just don't need to know them in full detail, right? By my things, I mean my quantity of cheese. I'm sure there's some things I definitely want to know in full detail. Like my taxes. Yeah, I want to know those in full detail. Sorry. And there wasn't that much left to this, so instead of half a cup, I'm doing like, you know, a cup or better. And that is A-okay with me. And just gonna toss that into a container, and that is good to go. Next, I'm gonna get my Southwest sauce ready, and the Southwest sauce is Southwest sauce is the reason why I love these Southwest wraps so much. I think like it's just a good sauce. I love if you have a Southwest sauce that you bought somewhere. You can just use that instead of making one. If you don't want to have one available to you because of dietary restrictions, I feel your pain. It happens. And that's what this is here for. This is here so that you can still have all of the flavor even if you happen to have restrictions. So I am using actually a paleo mayonnaise. You can make your own mayonnaise if you can't do regular, or you know, are avoiding seed oils or whatever food things are no longer fashionable at the moment. And I say fashionable just as much for my guts as for, you know, actually being fashionable, because goodness knows every once in a while it's like I will think, I'm like, oh yeah, I can eat this thing again, and then I eat it for like, you know, a little while, maybe even a year or two, and all of a sudden my body's just like, you know what, never mind, we're taking that one back. That you were just having too much fun with that one, we're taking it back. And yeah, bodies are weird. Okay, so we're gonna use a couple tablespoons of cilantro. So got my fridge cilantro here. Okay. I'm gonna see how much I got at the moment. And if you don't mind the texture of the stems of cilantro, use the stems as well. You can actually get more flavor from the stems than you do from the leaves. It's just the texture is harder, so people generally don't enjoy the texture. For people who just loathe cilantro all around, it's just one more thing to dislike about cilantro. But if you do like cilantro, if you like the flavor of it, keep in mind these stems are actually, they've got a lot of flavor in them. They pack a lot. So I'm gonna check and see how my bacon is looking. And we're just gonna put that up another 5 minutes. So, about 2 tablespoons. When I say that, I'm like kind of like a squishy tablespoon. So I just take some and then I'm like, well, that was probably around 2 tablespoons-ish. And then you can chop it up. I have an herb mill, so I'm just gonna, you know, mill that in there. It's got this like ball that just pushes it all down into a grinder. Very convenient. Somebody was smart thinking of that. And it all comes apart really easy actually to clean. Here, I'll show you. This part comes off and then the water goes right through there and you can just turn it, and it's very easy to clean actually. You'd be surprised because you'd look at this and think, okay, that's either like really gross or really hard to clean. And it turns out it's neither. It's actually just very, very functional if you happen to use a lot of herbs, and it works for like all different kinds of them. Love it. Okay, juice of half a lime. Look at the cutest little lime here. It's just so tiny. Go. That was a very juicy little lime too. My goodness, you did well, little lime. You did well. So I'm gonna put in 2 teaspoons of, I'm gonna put in Southwestern seasoning. Smells nice. I'm gonna put in Southwestern seasoning. You could use a chipotle, you could use a taco seasoning. Basically anything that is reminiscent of Southwesty to you, whatever you're feeling. If you have a rub that fits that vocabulary, then you go with it and you just make that happen. And then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of, well, oops, that wasn't quite full. Well, I guess I'm putting a little more of this in too. I didn't have it down all the way. I'm using some maple sugar in mine. There we go. You can always ish these things. Everything is ishable. This is why I'm not a baker, by the way, because baking is not quite as ish-worthy as cooking or putting together a flavorful sauce. Putting together sauces, that's fun. Like, this stuff is fun. You can just be like, I wonder what ketchup tastes like with pineapple juice and a little Jamaican, and then bam, it'll be delicious. Somehow, sauces. So I'm gonna put that one in the fridge where it's gonna stay. And the nice thing about this is that the flavors of the sauce are really gonna meld together nice over the next, day or so until you have it. If you have leftover sauce, use it for a dip for veggies or something. It's a good sauce. That sauce should not go to waste. In fact, if you wanted to make it double, you probably would not be upset at yourself for doing so. I'm gonna put together dry ingredients for a pancake mix. If you already have your own recipe for pancakes that you are using this week, you go wild. If you're doing French toast or something instead, same instructions. I'm gonna put together the pancakes for my family, and I shared our recipe in there. I do like it because the leftover pancakes are actually good. So I'm putting in some almond flour, and some tapioca. By the way, if you are Canadian and you happen to get tapioca flour and you are buying, yeah, that's looking pretty good. If you are getting Bob's Red Mills and you're paying like $7 a bag for it, go to the international section and find Kosa tapioca starch instead. And I think you'll be paying about $2 instead of $7. Same stuff, still gluten-free. I mean, it's not by Bob's Red Mills, but it's you're still getting flour because it's a very popular flour in parts of the world. You're just saving yourself a lot of money. So as soon as I found this in the international section, I was like, bye-bye hippie section tapioca. Yeah, I scooped a little out of there, but that's okay. There we are. So there's our tapioca starch. I'm gonna put some baking powder in there. And we need a little bit of salt. There we go, that's our pancake mix. So then we'll just be able to mix the wet ingredients in with the dry, and it's just one less step for us. It's like a build your own pancake mix, except whenever it's build your own, you know you're gonna be saving yourself a little bit of money. So I'm gonna grab this out of the oven. I can show you. Nice, beautiful, crispy bacon. Perfectly cooked, none of the splatter, none of the fuss. I'm gonna chop up this chicken real quick and then just throw it right back in here. More dramatic than I intended, my goodness. Okay, so just gonna give the chicken a quick slice. after this chicken is all chopped, I am going to just cube up 2 chicken breasts. I just want to make sure I had my cutting board all used for everything else first, because after doing this last step, which is going to be, because this one, the last one, yes, the other, that was all level 2. Level 2 is done. Level 2 is finished after that, pancakes. And now we start the almost completed level 3. Isn't that nice? Like, level 3 is so short because we already did the bacon, we already did the chicken. Now I'm just gonna cube up 2 pieces of chicken. I'm gonna grab my chicken back. Just gonna cube up a couple pieces of chicken for the shawarma bowls. Okay, those are like kind of the tiniest little, that is the cutest little chicken breast in the world. Chicken must have been tiny. Okay, I'm not feeling you though, not for this. Here we go. Sorry, little guy. Go back. Poor rejected little thing. Okay. So just quickly going to cube up this chicken, and then it's one less thing that I have to do because I'm already here. I'm already playing with the stuff. Everything's all dirty. Rather than put the chicken back in the fridge and then cube it up day of, we're just going to cube it now and have it done with, right? Right. And it's all these little things. Like, the funny thing is that nothing that we have done is big stuff, right? Nothing we have done is big stuff at all. It's all little tiny things of very little consequence that don't take a lot of time or effort to do throughout the week. However, it feels like it does. When it is 5 o'clock or 4:30 and you're just trying to get things together for supper, you're trying to get a meal on the table, and you've got sports you gotta make it to, you gotta make it out the door to this or that, or there's homework, there's just everything. And you've already had the pressures of work and home and all the rest of it all day long. You don't need one more thing. So chopping that onion, grating that cheese, like just having the little things done so you can just throw it all together and just be like, well, there's supper. You get to enjoy your time so much more that way. And that's why I've made this. That's what I want for you. I want you to sit down to supper and be like, well, that was nice. That was easy. Didn't taste bad either. And that's all I want for you. Truly, truly is. And with that said, level 3 is done. I hope that you enjoyed this week. I hope you have a good week. I hope you enjoy the food. I hope you enjoy the company with your family or whoever you're sharing this meal with. And I hope to see you next week as well for another week of prep. Bye-bye.